The Texas Masonry Council wants to put masonry training back in high schools all across Texas. If you have students that need jobs and are willing to work hard, we have contractors that can put them on the job site, making real money, learning real skills. Need tools and supplies to get a program up and running on your campus? Done. Tell me where to drop them off. Need some training for your teachers? Done. We can train your teachers so that they have the skills to begin basic masonry instruction to your students immediately. Do you want to get your students more excited about the trades and the great career opportunities that they present? Let us get you involved with some of the great competition programs like the Junior Bricklayer 500. The bottom line is that our industry needs to attract new, young talent into the workforce. And we'll work with your schools any way we can to get your students started on the path to become true craftsmen. Welcome back to another episode of Masonry Rocks. It's been a few months since we've been able to put together a show. I'm here joined with Michelle today. How you doing, Michelle?
Hey, how are you?
I'm very good. And as I mentioned, it's been a long time. And in the kind of the time since we've made a show, a lot has changed in the world. One of the things that TMC really hoped to do this next school year was to be in classrooms on a kind of a daily and weekly basis talking about masonry and getting students recruited into the industry. And, then school ended. School closed. And we don't really know what the next school year is going to look like and what kind of access we have to these students. And so today is very appropriate. We're actually going to be talking virtually to a longtime masonry instructor and a state masonry champion. Today. Michelle, you want to introduce them?
Yeah, this week we're interviewing some local celebrities from Harlingen High School. All of you have heard and read probably about how successful this program has been, and that's been due to the mentorship and training from our good friend, Victor Santillan. He's been providing this education, this masonry education to Harlingen High School students for 33 of the 48 years that Harlingen High School has had a masonry program. I find that incredibly epic and amazing.
That's dedication.
And in addition, I'm sorry?
That's dedication.
Super dedicated. In addition to seeing our guests talk on the show today, Tony's also going to be putting in photos from the SkillsUSA competitions we're going to be talking about. So even though you're hearing us talk and you're seeing our faces, there will also be some accompanying photos and graphics sent from Sadat and Victor, and that will be coming up on YouTube. So just tune into YouTube to see the full graphic episode of what we're talking about. Our guests today, Sadat Gutierrez and Victor Santillan. Sadat has been learning masonry since her sophomore year of high school. It's my understanding that she took it up as an elective on a whim, not really knowing how much she would grow to appreciate performing the workmanship. As a senior in high school, Sadat then developed her passion for masonry through Mr. Santillan's class, where she competed several times alongside her friends in the SkillsUSA masonry competition. And I know that's just a very, very big overview, very vague, so I know there's a lot more to the story, Sadat, but do you think that you can just kind of take us back to high school, right before you were, right when you were thinking about taking the class, kind of what was going through your mind, and why you were thinking about doing that, how you got into it?
As a sophomore, we had a bunch of electives. Everybody took the basic culinary so they can have food or whatever to take to their classmates, but that was already taken by so many students, and I didn't know masonry at all. I didn't even know there was a building for it, but they just shoved me into that class just for an elective my sophomore year. I didn't really like it at first because there was a lot of paperwork, but then my friend Anissa, she's also one of Mr. Santillan's competitors, one of my best friends. She had him the first semester and told me, hey, it's a really fun class. This isn't our teacher. He's in Las Vegas right now for the World of Concrete competition. And I was like, oh, okay. Then the following week, he comes back, and I decided to give it a second chance, and he tells us to go outside, and that's when we start laying brick for the first time. And I was really kind of iffy about it because I've never done anything like that, but it seemed really amazing to do something with your own hands. And it just started off with a 3-brick project, or a little lead corner or a stack bond project. And he would later have competitions between classmates. to get your competitive side going, and that really like set me to go further into the competitions because I really love competing. I really love to win. And alongside with my friends Anissa and other girls in the classroom, we just took off from there. We loved competing against each other, competing against classmates. And then towards junior year, or sophomore, junior year, and senior year, he would tell us about Skills USA competitions and how if you win first place in state, you get to go to nationals where you get to compete against the best of the best across the country. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. I hope to do that one day. And then, what was it? My junior year, I competed, but I did really terrible. I finished the project, but really messy. My levels were off. My plum was off. It was just a terrible project overall. Like, I was super disappointed in that project. I also realized I did the wrong design, which is automatically 100 points off. And so I knew I was not going to place whatsoever. But my friend Anissa, she placed third junior year, and I was like, wow, I'm really proud of her. You know what? I want to place top 3 my senior year. So senior year, the beginning of the year comes around, I start practicing as soon as I can. I started making project after project after project so I wouldn't have to embarrass myself the same way I did junior year. Then district comes around, I win first place again. I'm like, hey, that's really great of me. Let's just keep it going. Senior year comes around. The guy who won junior year first place also came back returning champion. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a challenge because he's been to nationals. I haven't. So, but I don't really let it get to me. I stay focused. I know what I need to do. But it is a little nerve-wracking when he's won first place before and everybody's thinking, you know what, he's going to win again. Competition comes around. It's a lot more difficult from the year before, but I'm still pretty confident in myself. I'm like, you know what, I practiced enough for this. This is my time. I'm going to take it. We started laying brick. I'm super confident, keeping it clean. All my levels are on point. My plum is on. My straight is perfect 10. I was still a little iffy. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to win, but my friends and my teacher were like, hey, you did really good. Look at your project. Look at his. You have a really good chance to win this. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. So I'm just a super nervous, anxious, competitor to find out the results. We don't find out the results until Sunday. 3 days later. So I was freaking out the entire 3 days. I was like, oh my gosh, did I win? I don't know. The awards come around and I'm just sitting in the pit listening to all the other skills trades contest winners. And then masonry comes around. They start with third place. It was some kid from another Dallas school. And then they say second place, the second place winner, and it wasn't my name. And that's when I realized, hey, I think I won. They call the defending champ's name second place, and then they say my name for first place. I stand up and I started freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's me. I won first place. I start awesome. It was awesome. Like, whoa, I rushed to the back so I can get on stage and get my medal and my plaque and my banner. And I'm like, whoa, this is super surreal. I seriously won first place. I was just super happy. I was the best of Texas. And it was just the next step forward to nationals. And I'm like, whoa, I'm actually going to go to nationals. I'm going to see so many different people that love to do what I do. And yeah, that's basically my high school year. And then national comes around. And I don't know, that's another story. I don't know if I should say it, but.
Well, you can. I mean,
tell us.
What's it called? Nationals was 2 months after state. And I had only 2 months to prepare. There were a lot bigger projects. It's a 6-hour-long projects with a 30-minute break in between. So I knew it was going to be super tiring. But because I do sports in high school, I had the stamina. I was pretty fit.
Sadat does the shot put in high school, so she's...
Yeah, I'm pretty
And volleyball.
I'm pretty kind of bulky. I don't know. But I had all the fitness behind me, so I just needed to practice my skill part. I practiced, and then finally nationals comes around. We get on a plane, and we went where? Like Delaware or something? Like we went to different
They,
I don't know.
They
But
flew us to St. Louis or something. It was a long flight
I don't know,
to
but
get over
we
there.
got there a little late, but it was totally fine. I got there. I was super excited. I'm like, wow. And I met kids from Skills in the plane already, starting off. I'm like, whoa, like you're going to Louisville? I'm going to Louisville. That's so crazy. And right off the bat, you just start making friends, start talking about your skills, and I thought that was really fun. What next happened? The next day was the conference, or was it?
No, the opening ceremonies were Tuesday night.
Oh, the
We get
opening
there on
ceremony.
Monday,
Okay.
and the ceremonies are Tuesday night.
Yep. It was a big stadium with
And
people all over the country.
Yes, and then trading pins, and
It was really fun. There's over 400 representatives for Skills from Texas, just from Texas. So
yeah, the Texas delegation is one of the biggest ones. That one in New York, they have like
so many
over
representatives.
400. Yeah.
But I was the only one for masonry. Everybody else was in a different trade. And I was like, whoa, there's just so many people. And then there was over, 5,000 people in the arena from
You were the only one there for masonry from Texas.
From Texas, yes. I'm the only representative.
Only first place qualified.
That's amazing, Sadat. That's really
Thank you. But yeah, I was like, whoa, I'm the only person from masonry from representing Texas. There wasn't even post-secondary, a college representative for masonry. I was just the only person. But the awards happened, or not the awards,
the competition.
No, it was a conference.
Oh, we had the meeting for the contest.
Yeah, there was a meeting where they would tell you what you're gonna build, and that's where you meet other people from different. The other contestants for masonry from different states. That's where I met one of my closest friends from Alabama and from New York. They're also in masonry, and we just became friends off the bat. Like, hey, you do masonry? We're competing against each other. That's so cool. And then I met Ashton White
from the post-secondary.
I met her. She was super awesome.
What was so awesome, she knew us. After the competition, she comes and she starts talking to us. And I said, how do we know you? And she said, I follow you on Twitter. I'm Ashton White. Oh, you're Ashton White. Super nice girl. Oh, she really is awesome.
I love that.
And her and Sadat just became, real good. And I saw her in Las Vegas. Ashton, she was competing against the other guy from North Carolina. Super nice girl.
I just didn't know she was the first place winner. I just thought she was another girl in masonry, so I wanted to introduce myself like, hey, you're a girl mason, so am I, let's be friends, because there was only about maybe 7 girls out of I think maybe 30 competitors.
No, it was combined the post-secondary and the secondary, there were 7 and there's 50 something combined.
There was 50 something competitors and only 7 girls from both high school and college competitors, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool, let me go introduce myself to the ladies. And so, yeah, that's how I met Ashton in person. She knew me off of Twitter. I thought that it was really cool. She introduced me to the other. I remember his name, but he was no. It was Grant.
From Alabama?
No, from North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina.
But
Grant.
She introduced. She screenshotted the picture of me winning first place for Texas, sent it to Grant, who was the first place winner for North Carolina in SkillsUSA Masonry, and she told him, hey, this is your competition. You need to keep an eye out for her. And I was like, oh, wow, that's wow.
And you were working next to him, right?
I was working right next to him. I'm like, whoa. But he was really amazing. He won first place later on. But the competition comes around. I'm super anxious, but I'm just thinking, just do what I do best, just lay brick. And how was it? It was over 200 bricks with
and block, 8-inch block.
8-inch block.
Yes. Well, you can see some of the pictures that we have on the Twitter. It was a big block.
It was a really big project. I don't think I've ever built something like that. Practice-wise, yes, but competition-wise, never. The kid next to me finishes with an hour to spare. I'm like, whoa, his project looks really good. Compared to mine, I still did pretty good, but I was still falling behind. I finished my project, no mistakes. I make sure I don't repeat the same mistake I did my junior year. and it just came out pretty good. I was really proud of myself. It was super tiring, but once it was over, I was like, whoa, I did that. I just finished the project. And it was another 3 days before we found out the results. But in the entire time, I was meeting new people from different states, from out of the country, like Puerto Rico and Guam. It was just an overall great experience. Then the awards come around. I just had a good feeling. I'm like, you know what? I placed top 10. They only announced top 3. And I made a bet with Mr. Santillan that if I were to beat his best competitor from nationals.
Yes, the best I've had at national was my very first state winner, and he finished 7th. It's tough. Nationals is tough.
Yeah.
And see, outside of that first state winner, all the other state winners that I've had, they never had picked up a trowel until they got to my class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because some of those people at national, they're working already, their construction, so they have a big advantage over the other students. If you can do this all summer long. So I told her, I said, look, if you can beat Frank finished 7th. When it was in Louisville, my first time it was in Louisville, 1992. And so I told her, look, if you can beat 7th tie or beat 7th, I'll give you $100.
Yeah.
Right?
The results come in and I placed 6th.
Nice.
I placed 6th. I'm like the 6th best Mason in the nation. I run up to my teacher. I show him like, hey, I got 6th place. Where's the $100?
Yeah, no, the times are changing, and schools are definitely stepping up and building CTE high schools to teach the trades and to teach real skills. And so we want to capitalize on that as schools kind of change their way of thinking and make sure that we're offering the resources for schools to provide masonry training and the classes. Victor, what would you tell schools that don't currently offer masonry? Why should they do it? How would that benefit the school and their students?
Well, I think one of the things that schools are always looking at is the cost of keeping a class. And masonry is a real inexpensive class. It's a real inexpensive class. You know, as far as to teach the class, if you need brick, hey, you can use the brick over and over and over. You know, the mortar, hey, over and over. And the tools, it hasn't changed. I mean, yes, there's a robot that lays brick, but, you know, it's not cost effective to build a house. It's great for if you're building a long wall. I mean, I've seen it, you know, operate, but it's not a real expensive class to have. But it's the other part though. It's tough to find the right instructor. Find the right instructor to teach masonry. There's got to be somebody that really loves the class and loves the trade. And I would say that there's opportunities if you have this class on your campus. It gives a lot of opportunities for the students, because a lot of students are, you know, like I said, they love the hands-on. They love the hands-on and building and looking at it and saying, hey, I built that, I did that. And that's what's so neat about the construction. I mean, even now, I can go back to buildings that I used to work on, and I point them out to the students sometimes. Look, I worked in that building, and I think it's so neat. I mean, I did the brick on my house. You know, and with some of the students that I had at the time, you know, they helped me do it. And so I would say, yes, it's a good program to have. A lot of schools do not have Mason. And if they do, they have it as part of the building trades. You know, they have plumbing and electrical and all that, and a little bit, but they only devote a short time to the masonry. But there's companies that are willing to give you the brick, the block, and the tools. You know, I mean, yes, I have a lot of contact because I've been doing it for so long. They support me with block and material. My department head, well, what do you need this year with something as far as your budget? There's years that I don't need anything. I don't need it. You don't need anything? I said, I've got everything. I mean, I have real good tools, and the best block in San Antonio, Kelly Hoffman. Oh, she's such an awesome lady. Supports us. She'll call me. So what do you need? You need block or you need brick? We'll get them down to you. And she brings it from San Antonio to Harlingen, free. Spec mix. They gave me like 3 pallets of practice mortar. They delivered to the classroom that we used to lay the brick at the mortar, practice mortar. So, and then spar glass, whatever you need, you tell us. because they support it.
TMC members are really very committed to the program and really committing to seeing these high school programs take off. So they have voiced, that they want to get more material to more schools across Texas, just like what you're saying. And so we're happy to facilitate that.
Oh, good. No, it is awesome. I mean, and like I said, it's not like the other programs. I mean, we need all those programs, but plumbing and all those, once you cut all those pipes and you use them up or glue them, and that's it. You need more.
You've done well with it. I just want to thank you for all you've done over the years. I had no idea you had 15 state champions, and so that is a sustained level of success. And second girl, yeah. And Sadat, congratulations to you on your success too, winning the state championship. Obviously you're really talented, and you really seem to have enjoyed the whole process. And you've been a great spokesman for the industry, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without the best masonry teacher there is.
Absolutely. Sadat, you're a woman in construction, but you're also a millennial. I know everyone loves it when we're called millennials, right? But your generation seems to really gravitate towards some technology and like we were talking about, kind of these traditional collegiate classwork things. But what would you say about the construction industry that would be appealing to like younger students? And I know that you do speak to younger students on the regular now as a TA, but what's something that you would say to them to kind of encourage them to try masonry and see if they like it?
Honestly, yes, we are like my generation is a really like technical, like technology, like computers, phones, everything. But sometimes it isn't for everybody. Sometimes they have trouble with it. They don't really like to do that. Sometimes they want to go out. They don't want to be indoors. And I'm like, hey, masonry is outside. It's hands-on. It's really fun. You make something with your own hands. If you're really good at it, you can take it up a notch. You can work for it, and they do pay really good for it than probably like in a box office. And it's just really amazing to make something with your own hands and just leave it there standing for many years to come, for generations to come. And some people get really motivated by that, like, hey, I can do that myself. I'm like, yeah, you can. You just have to practice it. You can do it with your own two hands. You can tell people, I did that. I didn't need anybody else to do it for me because I did it myself. That goes for other trades as well. Plumbing, electrician, tile work, any other trades like that. So maybe masonry may not be for them, but it could open doorways for other opportunities in the trades, in the construction field. And they could just work on it themselves, practice it, and just get better at it as long as they go. And with that, it just helps out the workforce and the growing economy that we're going into.
Well, best block, Ms. Hoffman, she sent me 4,000 bricks. 4,000. And then this past year, whatever block you need 8-inch, you need 4-inch, send me, it's just awesome. Mm-hmm. And then she comes down for our district competition also. Mm-hmm. Ms. Hoffman and James. And then Spark Glass bring me the judges, and it's just incredible. Mm-hmm. Awesome. But no, let's do it again. This is great.
Can we do a cheesy sign off, you guys? I want us to go. Is it Tony? Is it this? No, it's this.
What? Our logo? Our Masonry Rocks? What are you talking about?
Yeah, like rock on. Rock on.
Okay.
I'm an Aggie, so I'm just gonna do it like this.
This is too much. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. It's too much. So just be like, block on, Masonry Rocks, block